you're waking up. Hello. Stop thrashing around, please. I have more experience than I would like tying people up. You are not breaking free. I said, stop thrashing around. You're tied to the bed. I could torture you for hours on end, and you couldn't do anything to stop it. So, if you don't want that to happen, stop making me angry. Much better. Now, I know that you have lots of questions. Everyone always does. And I could remove your gag to let you ask whatever may be troubling your mind. But you all always ask the same questions. Who are you? Where am I? Are you going to hurt me? Why did you kidnap me? Well, darling, I'm Reese. My name won't probably ring any bells, though. You never noticed me. I don't think I can call myself a coworker, but I work in the same place as you do. I am part of the cleaning staff of the building. People always act like we're invisible, so I can't even blame you for not recognizing me. As for where you are, well, you're in my guest room. I know it's not very big, but with my salary, it's all I can afford. If I had finished my degree, I could have had a better place to live. But destiny had something different in store for me. Now, continuing with the third question, it's probably the one you are most worried about, right? Will I hurt you? Will I make you suffer, bleed, and scream in pain through your gag? Well, maybe. It depends on you, really. If you do what I want you to do, I'll treat you better than anyone has ever treated you before. But if you don't do what I want, I don't have much left to lose, to be honest. Make of that what you will. And I guess that takes us to your last question. Why did I kidnap you? Well, would it make sense to you if I said it was because I love you? Yeah, I thought so. So the long explanation it is. Okay, buckle up. You see, I have something called obsessive love disorder. Some psychologists say that it's a subtype of OCD. Some say that it's not a real thing. But that doesn't matter now. You probably don't want to hear me rant about the DSM-5. The important thing to you is what it entails. You see, due to my disorder, when I fall in love with someone, I don't just fall in love like a regular person. I get insanely obsessed with that person to a completely unhealthy degree. They turn into my entire world. I can only think about them. I forget to eat because I'm busy thinking about that person I love. I stop sleeping because every second asleep is a second that my darling isn't on my mind. It's like if you took the good and bad things of being loved and multiplied both of them by 1,000. But you see, I don't only spend the whole time thinking about the person I love. I get extremely possessive and jealous of them, even if we aren't dating or if they don't even know that I exist. I can't stand the idea of them being with anyone else, talking with anyone else, or even thinking about anyone else. I want them to be as obsessed with me as I am with them, and that's when things begin to get dangerous for every single person. I start stalking them, memorizing their tastes and routines. I bug their phone, break into their home, and eventually I end up kidnapping them. And this time, my darling, it was you who I fell in love with. As you've probably gathered, you are not the first person that I kidnapped. You are, in fact, the fourth one. But you're going to be the last. I will make you love me. And if this time I still can't make my darling fall in love with me, that would mean I am truly unlovable. And so, I will erase myself from existence. Huh? What's that look in your eyes, my darling? Is that compassion that I see? Or is it just wishful thinking on my part? I mean, you're such a kind person, I wouldn't be surprised if you felt sorry for the person who's kidnapped you and threatened you and tortured you just a few moments ago. But I wouldn't be so fast to feel sympathy, my love. The three others that came before you are dead now. Now, I don't plan on killing you, although I didn't plan on killing the others either. It just happened. They forced my hand, darling. I didn't want to, I just wanted them to love me. That's all I've ever wanted. Love. I kidnapped my first darling when I was in high school. They and I were friends since elementary school. As kids, we were inseparable. I was convinced that we were going to get married and live happily ever after together. But unfortunately, they had a different idea. Once we began high school, they began spending less and less time with me. High school is hard. They will just be studying, I said to myself, like the idiot, blinded by love that I was. Then I saw them flirting with another person, but I told myself that they were just being nice. They were a very charismatic person after all. But a few days later, I saw them kissing that same person, and the veil that covered my eyes disappeared. I waited for my traitorous friend after class, knocked them out, and took them home. Do you know how stressful it is to have someone unwillingly tied down to your bed when you still live with your parents? Unfortunately for my friend, my parents never cared a lot about me, and they didn't enter my room since an incident that I will tell you about another day. So they didn't notice what I was doing. As for my friend, I tried to make them love me. I really tried. I sneaked food from the kitchen to feed them every day. I told them time and time again how much I loved them and reminisced with them about stories of our childhood. Because they were tied to my bed, we had to sleep together, and I always wrapped my arms around them, hoping that they would feel my love through the drugs. I had to drug them because otherwise they would begin thrashing around as soon as I touched them. But I promise you that despite that, I never forced myself on them. I may be a monster, but I'm not that kind of monster. One day, my parents weren't home, so I took their gag off to have a quick conversation. But that conversation swiftly turned into screaming. They began shouting that I was crazy, that they hated me, and they told me to either kill them or set them free. Because they would never love me. So I followed their advice. I did what they told me. I took my pillow and I suffocated them to death. And once they stopped moving and the weight of what I had done dawned upon me, I hugged their corpse as hard as I could and cried for hours on end. Oh, don't look at me like that, darling, because the second one was even more disturbing. This time I was at college. They were a classmate of mine, beautiful as the sun itself. As you can probably imagine, I got obsessed with them and kidnapped them too. This time at least, I no longer lived with my parents. I'll spare you the boring details. The weeks trying to make them love me in any way I could think of, the tears and threats, the desperation, the heartache. I could go on for hours, but I don't want to bore you. I know what you want to know. How it ended. Well, like my friend, they refused to love me. But they went further. They tried to escape. They tried to escape from the person that loved them the most, from the person who breathed for them, who lived for them. But I caught them in the act. Oh, my darling. I saw red like never before. I didn't even know that I was capable of such rage. I threw them to the ground and slapped them with tears in my eyes, enraged and extremely hurt. That slap turned into a furious punch to their face, and then another, and then another. And I kept punching and punching until their face stopped being so hard and turned soft and squishy. There it is. That look. Honestly, it took you long enough. I was expecting to see that horror in your eyes way sooner. Maybe we still have a chance. Maybe. But let me tell you about the last one, my darling. In a way, they were the one who hurt me the most. When I kidnapped them, they were so scared and confused at first, like the others before them, and like you. But once I told them what was going on, they acted very differently from the rest. Just a few days after I kidnapped them, they were acting like everything was perfectly normal. They smiled at me, talked to me, and said nice things to me. I began to grow hopeful. Maybe third time truly was the charm. And only a few weeks after I kidnapped them, they told me they loved me too. They said that they just couldn't resist someone who loved them as intensely as I did. And for some time, everything was wonderful. I really thought I had found the one. But of course, I was destined to be miserable. And after a couple of wonderful months in which we lived like an actual couple, one day, I woke up tied to my bed, with my partner nowhere to be seen, and a couple of hours later, I was in handcuffs. That rat didn't just pretend to love me, to then escape when my guard was lowered. but they also went and stabbed me in the back by turning me in. In the trial, I was deemed clinically insane, and I spent the next 2 years of my life locked up in a mental institute. Thankfully, they didn't know about my 2 previous guests, but that rat didn't escape from me. Once I finally got out of that horrible place, I tracked them down. It was easier than you would expect nowadays. People don't really care about their privacy nearly as much as they should. I figured out where they lived, and I discovered that, while I was locked up, they had gotten married. I went to their house in the middle of the night and blocked all the doors. Then I broke one of the windows and firebombed the place. I sat at a safe distance and watched while that house burned to the ground, with the rat and their spouse inside. And unlike with the other 2, this time I didn't feel the slightest bit of remorse. I didn't cry or wish I was different. I just felt at peace. That was around a year ago. Some part of me had hoped that everything I'd gone through would put an end to the obsession running through my veins, and yet here you are. So it is clear that my hopes were in vain. I just want someone to love me, my darling. Well, not someone. I want you to love me. I want you and I to be happy together. I want you to smile at me, to hold me at night and say that you love me as much as I love you. I want to give you my full, unconditional, and everlasting love. I want to make you feel more love than you have ever been. Look at you, so beautiful and perfect despite being tied down and gagged. If you just loved me, I would be happy for the rest of my life. We are going to die together, my darling. That's a fact. The only thing left to decide is if we are going to die today or once we grow old, after having spent such a happy life together. But that is up for you to decide. Now that you know who I am, how I am, and what I've done, who will you be, darling? Will you be the one who asks for their death, like my childhood friend? The one who makes me see red, like my classmate? Or the one who thinks that they can get away from me, like that treasonous rat? Or maybe you will be the one who loves me, and you'll save us both.